Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to the Greenwich Village Folk Festival, the August 2022 edition. Did I put an extra two in there? 2022, right? That's where we are. I'm Ron Olesko. I'll be one of the MCs tonight, along with Sonny Ochs, and we have got an incredible show that we're going to be bringing to you. Tonight, you're going to be hearing from Daniel Cainer, Dave Rowe, Lili Añel, Joel Mabus, the Fox Run 5, David Roth, Deirdre McCullough, Greg Greenway, Peter Mayer, and Christine Lavin. Oh, it's going to be fun. And I'm hoping you're all going to stay with us because we're going to really enjoy ourselves. Now, the Greenwich Village Folk Festival is a free event. It's our gift to the community. And it started back in 1987 when the Greenwich Village Folk Festival began holding annual festivals in Greenwich Village, hence the name. It took a little bit of a sabbatical, and in 2020 it came back as this first Sunday of the month virtual event. Because of COVID, we've been here every month, and it's been proven so successful. Well, we're going to continue doing this, and it's all thanks to those of you who have been kind enough to donate, chip in a few bucks to our tip jar, and help support these artists and this festival. You'll see if you're watching on either YouTube or Facebook, at the bottom of the screen, they'll be telling you how you can make your donations. There's a paypal.com address. There's also a place you can send your checks. Or you can just go to greenwichvillagefolkfestival.org. If you're watching in the archives, you can donate at any time. So your donations will help and keep this going. Well, as I said, Sonny Ochs and I are going to be co-emceeing tonight, so how about we get started? Now, we are going to start off by going to Scotland. We're so happy that Daniel Cainer could join us again tonight. If you caught this past January's Greenwich Village Folk Festival, you probably remember Daniel created this wonderful song in honor of Christine Lavin's birthday. He wrote it on the spot, and if you missed it, you can check it out on our archive. And some of you are watching tonight here in the New York City area. You might have seen Daniel this past spring. He had a residency at the Soho Playhouse, which received some great reviews. This British artist grew up in Leeds and southeast London in a kosher Jewish home. He used his musical and storytelling talents to examine his heritage through moving tales and observational comedy, and he's created some acclaimed productions that have led to 6 off-Broadway runs and 15 Edinburgh Fringe Festivals. He also writes scores for film and TV. His songs have been performed by folks from cabaret artists to rabbis. And he's been a singing reporter for the BBC, and reportedly, he's the world's only singing astrologer. Tonight he's coming to us from Edinburgh, Scotland, where he is also performing in the world-renowned Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Let's welcome back to the Greenwich Village Folk Festival, Daniel Cainer.
Hello, that was quite an introduction. I couldn't have written it better myself. So the host, there's a little bit of technical jiggery-pokery. Unmute myself. I thought I was unmuted, I beg your pardon. Hello, here I am, now, probably and excitedly unmuted. So welcome to Scotland, of course, I'm in an apartment here that I've just rented because I'm here performing my 16th Edinburgh Fringe. You tell that I'm in Scotland, can you? So I thought I better have some artifacts around that just proved it. So hold on one second. There's something there. That is a bottle of single malt. That tells you I'm in Scotland, does it not? And there's something else. Oh, yes. This is Scotland's soft drink of choice. It's called Un Brew and is actually horrible. So there we go. That is that. Merchandise available later on in the Greenwich Village Folk Festival show. So I'm just going to start off here because I'm out of the Fringe, and this is the way I'm starting my show at the moment. I thought I'd do just to try and paint a sort of a visual audio picture, if you like, an audio-visual picture of Edinburgh. This is sort of what it's like. From this hill can see the sea, the Firth of Forth, the water of Leith, the Royal Mile, Arthur's Seat, Calton Hill, the Carlton Keep, the old town, the new town, near and far. Welcome to Edinburgh. From this hill, high above the town and the teeming crowds, the colours and the sound, 100,000 peddlers of the arts, singing their songs, playing their parts, the good and the bad and the wunderbar. Welcome to Edinburgh. From this hill, what can you see now? Spires and domes, an upside down cow, posters and flyers filling every space, a single piper, amazing grace. It's been hard, we've been scarred, but here we are. Welcome back to Edinburgh. We were all wound up, so we were all wound down. We were told to stop and to not leave town. They said, cover thy face, as they closed the portal, and we learned to embrace a new normal. So quiet, so strange, no vapor trails. We were home on the range, no rush, no crush, no sails. And we banged those pots and pans from California to Cornwall, as we failed to understand the new normal. The new normal will be cool. We will learn from our mistakes. Goodbye old school, hello new school. Goodbye hope, hello truth. Goodbye fate. Now we know what we know. We'll be changing our ways. We'll be taking it slow. We'll be catching some rays. We'll be standing in a circle singing songs of praise in the new normal. Like the War of the Worlds, like those 50s B movies. Who were the villains? Who were the heroes? Depended on your news feeds, and every night on our TVs. So serious, so formal. They say next slide please is the new normal. And we lost my dad. There were 6 at the funeral. The life he had was neither bright or beautiful, and we went straight home. No hugs, no chat, no chortle, in the twilight zone of the new normal. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else in between, how can we know what's normal, what will be, and what has has been. The sun goes up, the sun goes down, that's normal, that's normal. The seasons, they go round and round, that's normal, that's normal. But once there was no carousel, once there was no sun. The only thing that's normal is that normal doesn't last for very long, for very long. Is it over yet? Are we nearly there? Can we stop holding our breath? Or is there something in the air? We have come so far, but we're only mortal, and here we are in the new normal.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Chris. This is strange. It's all very strange. But yes, welcome to Scotland. I was going to do. You heard just in that that I lost my dad during the. And strangely enough, because nearly all my songs seem to feature my dad in one way or the other, so I am going to do. It took me a little while to sort of write something about that, but this is really for everyone that we have loved and lost, and it's called "May Your Memory Be a Blessing." May your memory be a blessing. May your blessing be a memory too. Keep me thinking, keep me guessing what you'd say and what you'd do. May your memory linger on like a long, long summer's day before you passed away. I should have seen you more than I did see you. I should have told you more, just how much I needed you. I should have, but I didn't. I'm guilty, but who isn't? I did not know the way, the why, or how. But may your memory be a blessing now. There's a dot on the horizon, that's where we're all heading to. Where the dark meets the light, where the day meets the night, where the past meets the future, where the old meets the new. Is it my imagination, or do I hear you calling me as I'm drifting on the sea? May I not be afraid to go into the deep, from the shallows where the dreams we dream are made. Between the veils and the shadows, where nothing is enough, where all there is love, where suffering and shame are not allowed. So may your memory be a blessing now. May your memory be a blessing. Baruch Dayan Haemet, where less is more and more is less. May we forgive and not forget. May your memory be a blessing. Is that a message coming through? A gust of wind, a candle flickering, a bird in the grey sky, a bolt from the blue. I guess that you can see the bigger picture from where you are. So near and yet so far. Tell me we're okay, and I will believe you. There's a greater force at play, above us and beneath too. Can you feel, or can you not? Is there or isn't there a God? If there's a God, then to that God let's bow. And may your memory be a blessing now. May your memory be for a blessing. Baruch Dayan Haemet. Every day we all need blessing. May we not forget.
Oh, beautiful.
Sort of slightly spontaneous improvised ending there, which made it sound more like a hymn than I intended it to. But anyway, there we go. That was from my dad, out of Shalom, and all that kind of thing. I'd said the life that he had was not bright or beautiful in the earlier piece, but in fact it was the death that he had that was not very bright or beautiful, because he was quite a character, it must be said. So anyway, for everybody that we've loved and we've lost. So here I am in Edinburgh at the Fringe. I have a show every day. There's not much really point in me plugging it right now, but what happens is that 1:15 every day I toddle off to this little venue and I pray that people will turn up. There are nearly 3,500 shows on here over this month. So getting attention is a little bit complicated and a little bit difficult and a little bit expensive, actually, I might say, because everybody's waving and saying, look at me. Now, and I'm no different. Sort of half the time, I think I am, doing the world a great service by sharing my art, and the rest of the time, of course, I'm just desperate for applause and attention and praise. So there we go. Everywhere you go in the city, there is stuff, there is consumables, there is posters, there's flyers, there's more. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. But anyway, it's also kind of fun too. If you happen to be heading to Edinburgh, anybody that's watching this, I can't recommend it enough, actually, in a funny kind of way, apart from the fact that it costs quite a bit of money, whether you're performing or whether you're coming to watch. But there's something for everybody here, including me, 1:15 every day at the Underbelly. There you go, got it in. Now, let's change the subject, and this will be my last song here, and it is going to be let's talk about the weather. Shall we talk about the weather? Has anybody noticed lately that the weather has been a little bit unpredictable? Yes. So I'm going to sing a little bit about that and other stuff, and I'm going to probably say thank you very much, because I don't think there's going to be much chatting at the end. So I'm going to say thank you very, very much for being here. If you're watching this, everybody, all friends that I know, Chris and Folksong, and all that kind of thing. And I knew that Eric Schwartz was there at the Folksong 5, and I was going to do one which had a little bit of a little bit naughty, but I changed my mind. But I was thinking of you. So anyway, signing off with this. It's if it works technologically. Let's see what happens. tell Greta about the things I'm buying. They're arriving all the time on Amazon Prime, while the real Amazon is dying. Don't tell Greta she won't this. She gonna slap me on the wrist. I already know that I should know better, so don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta. I went to the store, but I didn't take a carrier bag, though I've got about 100 at home in the drawer. Don't tell Greta I've been driving too far for work and pleasure, though the gas costs more than the car. Don't tell Greta she won't be pleased. She turned me into the green police, and I'll be spending the night in the cellar. And don't tell Greta. We treat Greta like we treat Gaia, despite the famine and the flooding and the fire. It's like God has sent us Greta to make us get our act together and remind us everywhere we go we make and break and take the weather. Don't tell Greta outside it's 100 degrees, but you gotta wear a sweater when you're getting your groceries. Don't tell Greta reality bites. There are musts and test kits floating in the cesspits, filling up the landfill sites. We pile our plastic onto boats and dump it on the tropical coast, topped off with a little umbrella. Don't tell Greta. It's getting hotter, there's no denying, but we're still racing, we're still chasing, we're still flying. And as we burn, baby, burn past the point of no return, this is the sound of human nature's mother nature dying. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta. I'm at the Edinburgh Fringe. There's 1,000 tons of paper, and it's all heading straight in the bin. Don't tell Greta she hasn't got a shot. It's like standing in front of a runaway train and willing it to stop. You can tell Greta enough is enough, but we keep on doing the same old stuff. We carry it on like we never met her. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta. Don't tell Greta.
Blah, blah, blah. Net zero by 2050. Blah, blah, blah. Climate neutral. Blah, blah, blah. This is all we hear. Words. Our hopes and dreams drown in empty promises. Hope is telling the truth. Hope is taking action. And hope always comes from the people.
Don't tell Greta.
Wow. Great
Daniel
song.
Cainer. Daniel Cainer, all the way from Edinburgh, Scotland, the place where I was born many years ago. Anyhow, if you want to learn more about Daniel Cainer, you can go to his website, which is his name, Daniel Cainer. That's CAINER.com, and you can learn lots and lots of stuff about him. Our next performer, oh, I'm so looking forward to this. He's going to be doing a show here for me at my venue in Middleburg, New York, next Sunday. He's keeping busy, that's for sure. His name is Dave Rowe, and he has two grandfathers who were professional jazz musicians. His mother was a pro singer. His father was a member of Schooner Fair, that incredible group from Maine. And Dave himself has put out around 15 recordings. And the thing I love best about Dave Rowe, besides his music, is that he and his wife, Stacy, sold their house. They have a boat they call the Stink Pot, and they now live on the boat, and that is their permanent address. So not only is, and you can hear wonderful stories and adventures if you listen to him. He's on, I think, weekly on folkmusicnotebook.com. And yeah, so instead of me talking, let's listen to Dave sing, because he is really worth listening to. Hi, Dave. Dave Rowe.
Hi, Sonny. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I'm on the boat right now. I'm in Solomons, Maryland, and I will be driving to see you next week, I promise. But for right now, I'm here. It's 86 degrees here, which is pleasantly low compared to the way it has been recently. We've been in the 90s just about every day. And that, after hearing that last song, and I think the environment's a bit on our minds, because I have this brand new song too, which is kind of an environmental song. It's sort of an environmental song from my perspective, because I get to see how things change from the water. And I wrote this song on a day that the water was very high, abnormally high. It was above all the docks. We couldn't get off the boat. We couldn't go anywhere. And it brought me to thinking about sea rise and these sorts of things, and how people are losing their sea homes, their homes on the shore and whatnot. So this is a brand new song. It's called Humble Beach Home. Tall seagrasses wave on bitter wind. The sand dampens and chills your shoes. The screeching gulls betray you now as you ponder how much you will lose. This was your home since you were so young. You knew every board and each nail. Built by your dad when you were just 10, before you liked girls or could sail. But nature is never to be trifled with when she rages at what she can't abide. And your humble beach home was just in the way of the wind and the waves and the tide. So you dig through the sand with blistered cold hands, looking for a picture or a charm. This place was like heaven for 49 years, till the weathermen raised the alarm. You packed up that bag like you'd done countless times for each springtime northeasterly blow. And each time you'd return for another reprieve, how your luck ran out you'll never know. But nature is never to be trifled with when she rages at what she can't abide. And your humble beach home was just in the way of the wind and the waves and the tide. No telling for now what you'll do with this place, your corner of heaven on earth's upturned face. Would you build here again, or allow for the truth that to quarrel with nature itself is uncouth? So you gather those things that you just can't replace. You found photos that mostly stayed dry, a sandy-soaked Afghan from Aunt Grandma with love, straightened with tears in your eyes. You pack what is left in the back of your Ford, and you marvel one time at the moon. It rises above you like nothing has changed in that storm on the last afternoon. But nature is never to be trifled with when she raises that which she can't abide. And your humble beach home was just in the way of the wind and the waves and the tide. Yes, your humble beach home was just in the way of the wind and the waves and the tide. Why, thank you. That's a brand new song. I hope to record it someday. This one I have recorded. It's a song it's about my home state of Maine. In the town of Gray, Maine, there's this huge cemetery in the center of town. And in the middle of that cemetery is a grave that's simply, it's marked the stranger of the late war. It's a Civil War grave. The town of Gray sent more young men to the Civil War than any other town in the state of Maine. So it stands to reason they have the biggest Civil War section. And the stranger was brought there completely by accident. They still don't know who he was, but they do know that when they opened the coffin, it was a Confederate soldier locked inside. They were expecting Lieutenant Charles Colley, who was he was killed following the Battle of Cedar Mountain. He succumbed to his injuries. And in those days, if you wanted your loved one back from the war zone, you paid the War Department, and they would ship the body back for you. And so that's what the Colley family did, and they were so shocked with what happened. So they buried him like their own, because they thought he was somebody's son, and that somebody was missing their son greatly, and they thought he at least deserved that. And the people of Gray, Maine took up a collection, and they bought the marble stone that still stands there. And to this day, on Memorial Day, they still decorate the grave with flowers and a rebel flag. This is a stranger. From that Cedar Mountain battle of 1862 came a fallen soldier's casket as the 10th Maine paid its dues. The grieving parents braced to see their Union son lay dead, but in his place they found a boy in Southern Gray instead. As the tears rolled down their faces, they searched vainly for his name, but they never learned who journeyed to their village up in Maine. Without the funds to send him back, he was buried like their own. And there above his resting place they carved stranger on the stone. Yet the stranger in gray is lying there today, a misdirected casualty of war, surrounded by the ones who fired the Union guns. The stranger in gray will see Dixie nevermore. Fate must have a sense of humor as it winds along its way, for it led that gray-clad stranger to a little town named Gray. But even when the real son, he was found and buried there, the town made sure the stranger was included in their prayers. And when the ladies place the flowers and the flags are left to wave, beside the stranger's flowers, a rebel flag flies on his grave. So he lies with the others, who in life he sought to kill. All the rifle fire has ended, the cannonballs are still, and flowers of blue grow softly by that stranger's marble stone, to show to all that blue and gray don't have to be alone. Yes, the stranger in gray is still lying there today, a misdirected casualty of war, surrounded by the ones who fired the Union guns. The stranger in gray is no stranger anymore. Yes, the stranger in gray will see Dixie nevermore.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks very much. A number of years ago, I'm going to finish my short set here with this song. It's a song that came out of an experience that I had. In some ways, it was an uncomfortable experience, and in other ways, it was a very exhilarating experience from what I learned. This radio host, folk music radio host, contacted me, and he said, "Dave," he said, "my show on Sunday, I'm going to play a few of your songs, and I'd love it if you tuned in and just heard how they were treated." So that's great. So I tuned in via the magic of the internet and listened to all 3 hours of his show, and my songs were somewhere in that third hour. So I got to listen to the first 2 hours of the show, and most of all of it. I listened to the whole show. And one of the things that struck me as I was listening to this radio show was that all of the songs, with a few minor exceptions, mostly dealt with the songwriters' love lives. And I don't know what this phenomenon is in folk music, but it just made me feel. I actually turned around. I yelled at my stereo at one point. I'd had it. I couldn't take it anymore. I said, "Your love life will never be a folk song." And I said, "Hey, that sounds like a song." So I wrote it. And so I want everybody sitting at home right now, when we get to that part of the chorus where it says, "Your love life will never be a folk song," I want everybody to sing that with me, because it's going to be very gratifying. I promise. I should show you how it goes. It goes like this. It may be tragic the way she's done you wrong. The very fabric of this world has come apart since she's been gone. You thought your pen and guitar could fix the problems of your heart, but your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. You see how that goes right there? Every time. Special, you know, the world just has to agree. The way she looked at you and you were so cool with that guitar on your knee. From the very start she brought new songs into your beating heart. Then she broke it and we all know how she tore it all apart. It may be tragic the way she's done you wrong. The very fabric of this world has come apart since she's been gone. You thought your pen and guitar could fix the problems of your heart, but your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. Folk songs have been around and sung for many years, sung by young and old in many kitchens, clubs, and theaters. Start singing one, and folks around you join in harmony. So that breakup song you wrote for her ain't folk, you must agree. It may be tragic the way she's done you wrong. The very fabric of this world has come apart since she's been gone. You thought your pen and guitar could fix the problems of your heart, but your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. It may be tragic, you know it, come on, the way she's done you wrong. The very fabric of this world has come apart since she's been gone. You thought your pen and guitar could fix the problems of your heart, but your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. This land is your land. Sing it, come on. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. But your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song. Oh, your love life will never be a folk song. Yes, your love life will never be a folk song.
Yeah.
There it is. Thank you very much, everybody. You can find me online at daverowemusic.com, and I hope to see you all somewhere at some point. And remember, your love life will never be a folk song. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dave. And I'd also like to remind everybody, you can tune into Dave's radio show, Folk on the Water, on folkmusicnotebook.com. Little plug for my own channel, I guess. But Dave is on every Thursday at noon. Dave and his first mate, Stacy Guth. And I don't know if you'll be hearing any love songs about Dave's love life. I mean, you're going to hear some great music and some great stories. Their adventures are just amazing. Well, up next, we have an artist who you really can't describe her musical style with just a single label. I mean, if you ask her, she'll probably describe her music as a hybrid of jazz, folk, soul, and pop. Music has always been a major part of Lili's life. She was born in Spanish Harlem, raised in the South Bronx, and Lili remembers singing along to her mother's Cuban, jazz, and pop standard albums, and also singing in the church choir. Well, with some encouragement from her mother and her grandfather, she pursued music by studying voice and performance at City College. She took lessons at Eddie Simon's Guitar Center and also attended numerous open mics. Her first album was released back in 1994, and in 2004 she moved to Philadelphia, where she continues to use her powerful voice to create songs that are snapshots of life, and also her experiences, either that she has lived through or observed. Her latest album is a remastered edition of Better Days, And she'll also be appearing on September 8th at a Songwriters in the Round with Jesse Terry and Michael Braunfeld at the venue 118 North in Wayne, Pennsylvania. It's so good to have her back with us tonight. Please welcome Lili Añel.
Thank you, Ron. That was perfect. Make sure you can hear everything. I'm enjoying this. Always do. This first song, I wrote some time ago. It appeared on my second record, and I just want to preface it by saying I wrote it about a dear friend of mine. Her name is Zora O'Brien. We worked together at the same day job at a law firm. And we always got in trouble because we'd laugh really loud. Between my laugh and her laugh was crazy. We went to a Broadway show once, a one-man show by John Leguizamo called Freak. And I thought we were going to get thrown out because we were laughing so hard that in the middle of his set, he stopped. And he walked out to the apron of the stage and he went, "Are you all right back there?" And I looked at her, I said, "Get your purse, they're gonna throw us out." They didn't, which was great, but it was that kind of relationship. She also saved my life in many ways. So I wrote this song about and for her. This is called Zora. Oh, Zora, it's getting late. My tears run down like water. Zora, Zora, if it's just fate, then how do I know you like I do, like you know me too? Ooh, Zora, Zora. Oh, Zora, I'm broken too. I don't know how I'm still breathing. Zora, Zora, a friend like you has helped make me believe. There is hope, there is love, there is truth. Ooh, Zora, Zora. Oh, we laugh how we laugh. We can't hold back. We can't hide this feeling. Laugh how we laugh. We can't hold back. We can't hide this joy. Laugh how we laugh. Zora, you have a heart like mine. It beats on the left and it chokes on the right. A pride that stands so tall, no, you'd never throw the fight. If I could only be, if I could only be a half the Superman in you. Oh, Zora, I'm still broken too, but somehow I'm still breathing. Zora, Zora, a friend like you has helped make me believe. I've got hope, I am loved, and there is truth, 'cause you believe in me, Zora. Zora, and oh, we laugh how we laugh. We can't hold back, we can't hide this feeling. Laugh how we laugh. We can't hide this joy. Laugh how we laugh, my Laugh how we laugh, Zora, 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 Zora. Thank you. That's my friend Zora O'Brien. One time we were walking down the street and we just laugh about stuff. And we were crossing 57th and 7th. We'd meet like Sunday afternoons and go have coffee and just walk around the city. We're getting ready to cross the street. And I forget what we were laughing about, but we were really laughing. So there's a woman, some stranger, standing on a street corner a few feet away. And she goes, gee, what are you laughing at? Tell me so I could laugh too. In typical New York fashion, we just ripped her to shreds. It was like, mind your business, nobody's talking to you, cross the street, lady, who you talk? It was one of those. It just, you know. And then we crossed the street and kept laughing. So, what can I tell you? This next song is a cappella. I wrote this as a result of a comment that was made to me by a coworker at a job. One day she said to me, you know, you say the same thing every day at the same time. And I'm like, really, what's that? She goes, somewhere around 10 o'clock in the morning, you say, I want to go home. And I said, I do not. And she said, yes, you do. And I said, I do not. So then I started to pay attention. And lo and behold, every day about 10 o'clock, I'd say, I want to go home. And so I wrote this song. Despite it was the fact that I'm relaying that someone said to me, and that's where I get the title from, the crux of the story is from something that happened to somebody else at the same job. So I just put the whole thing together. Let's see what key I'm doing this. Oh, I wanna go home soon, 'cause I can't do any more work today. Lord, please take me home soon, for I am lost and I can't find my way. And I won't do any more work today. I rise from work each morning. I clock in at 8. The work's piled high when I get in. I make sure I'm not late. The boss, she's just a coward and always wears a frown. The other day, she wrote me up. She said I laughed too loud. She said I laughed too loud. And I wanna go home soon, 'cause I can't do any more work today. Lord, please take me home soon, for I am lost and I can't find my way. And I won't do any more work today. Just wanna earn $1, gladly put in my time. I just want my fair share. I just want what's rightly mine. I 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 wanna go home. wanna go home soon, 'cause I can't do any more work today. Lord, please take me home, please take me home soon, for I am lost and I can't find my way. And I won't do any more work today. Home, take me home. I wanna go home. Home, take me home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. Home, take me home. So the story behind that was that it was a coworker that came to me. She says, "You'll never guess." I said, "What?" She said, "They wrote me up." I said, "Why?" She said I laughed too loud. I said, "You're kidding." Lawyers, but if you're a lawyer out there, I'm sorry, but I said, "Well, they really did?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "That's because they didn't hear me around the corner the way I laughed. They would have written you, they would have forgotten all about you." We laughed about it, of course. I thank you very much, and I'm very honored to take part in the Greenwich Village Folk Festival. I remember when it was held over at the church on West 4th, years and years ago. This last song I co-wrote with my sister Barbara, who discovered her musical side years before I discovered mine. Of late, she's a great co-writer with me. She's my Ira Gershwin. She softens my edges. I tend to be very direct in the things I'm saying, and she often tells me, "Lili, you can't do that. You're scaring people." And I said, "Well, I don't think so. They need to hear that." She goes, "Well, sometimes." So we came up with this story that's very cinematic about a couple who's broken up. Sorry, this is a folk song, or whatever we're going to call it, about love, so on that. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. It is what it is. A couple who breaks up, and then they go to a party, and lo and behold, they're with different partners, and then they see each other. The rest of they say is history. This is called Another Place, Another Time. Thank you, Greenwich Village Folk Festival. I remember the time and place. I remember I saw your face. You belong to someone else, but once upon a time, I would call you mine. You walk away and give me one last glance, for one last moment, for one last chance. I recall your kiss and afternoons of bliss. Another place, another time with you. Now is all that I can see, all that I can be. Just hold me close, Let's dance just one more dance. This lonely night away, hold me close, just sway, sway with me. Down, 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 down. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 Now is all that I can see, all that I can be. Just hold me close, let's dance just one more dance. The lonely night away, hold me close, let's sway, sway. Between the moon and the stars are we, and one more moment in time is all I need. I long for one last kiss, an afternoon of bliss, another place, another time, another place, another time with you. La 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 la. Another place, another time, another place, another time with you, with you, with you.
Hey, Añel. Oh, really, it's been so many years since I've seen you. Your voice is as wonderful as ever.
Oh, Sonny,
It's
thank
so
you.
good to see you after all these years. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here, always.
And up next, this is a guy who does everything from traditional folk, bluegrass, blues, and original songs. He plays guitar, he plays fiddle, he plays mandolin, he plays banjo. What an amazing guy. And he does everything. Not only does he play all those things, he plays them well. And when he does a song, he does it beautifully. My favorite of his is Touch a Name on the Wall. I usually play that on my radio show every year, Memorial Day. Such a powerful song. Joel Mabus, it's so good to know we're going to hear you again. So take it away, Joel.
Unmuting myself. Hi, Sonny. Good to see you again, too. These 3 song sets are the hardest thing I do. The only thing harder is a 2-song set. One of those binary things. But I'll do you some songs that I've written. And this one falls under the category of getting it off my chest, okay? Sometimes I've written hundreds of songs and all kinds of things, all kinds of moods, and sometimes you just gotta get something off your chest. This one, the title of this one is A Special Kind of Hell. So you think you got away with it. You think nobody knows. You're the smartest person in the room. That's what you're thinking, I suppose. Well, there must come a reckoning. That's why I'm here to tell. They're building you a special kind of hell. Oh, there's a special kind of hell for folks like you. For all the things you done and those things you plan to do. There's 100 little devils just waiting in a line, sharpening the pitchforks to stick in your behind. They'll burn brimstone by the ton to hide your smell. Down there in your special kind of hell. Oh, there's a special kind of hell for bums like you. You'll be drinking kerosene, eating polecat barbecue. Your roommates will be crocodiles snapping at your toes, and smelly little rats will be nibbled in your nose. And they got bagpipes playing out of tune as well. Down there in your special kind of hell. Oh, there's a special kind of hell for trash like you. You'll get lectures every hour from the old friends you have screwed, while exfoliating warthogs with a toothpick and a spoon, and licking clean the backside of a very sick baboon. That's just one of many games they play so well. Down there in your special kind of hell. Oh, there's many more surprises I just don't have time to tell. Down there in your special kind of hell. In your dismal yet artisanal kind of hell. Yeah. Well, I don't like to go into long stories about how I wrote things, but that one, I was watching the Kavanaugh hearings for Supreme Court a few years ago, and at one point, Lindsey Graham just got as red as a beet. He was boiling mad, and he pointed a finger at a Democrat senator, and he said, "There's a special kind of hell for people like you." And I said, "There's my song." Thank you, Lindsay. So the name of this one is, while I adjust my capo, the name of this one is Hillbilly Singer. Hillbilly Singer. Yes, I'm using the H word. I'm descended from hillbillies, so I feel I can do it. My parents and two uncles and two aunts back in the Depression, 1930s, made their living singing what they called hillbilly music. We call it old time now, I guess. Well, it was late one night in a roadhouse saloon. The band coming off of the stage with my favorite hillbilly singer, still good, but showing his age. I said, "I got all of your records, and if you don't mind me bending your ear, I'd like to know what you're drinking." And he said, you can buy me a beer. Well, I asked him, how can you do it? You sing your heart out night after night. He took a long drink and then he answered. He says, son, I be telling you right. He says, sometimes you sing for the money. Sometimes you sing for the show. Sometimes you sing to a pretty young thing with a big smile in the back row. Sometimes you sing 'cause you're lonesome and you need the crowd and those cheers. Sometimes you sing for your supper. Sometimes that's only the beers. Sometimes you sing for a memory of a love gone awfully wrong. Yes, sometimes you sing for the money. Sometimes you sing for the song. Him where next he was headed. He said, son, I don't rightly know. Some joint a whole lot like this one, just a ways further down the road. He said the boys in the band handle business. They just take me along for the ride. A wore out hillbilly singer. Then he finished his beer and he smiled. He wrote me his name on a napkin and he left with a tip of the hat. And here it is all these years later. I'm still remembering that. On those nights when nobody listens and this old guitar just don't want to play, I remember that hillbilly singer and the things that he had to say. Because sometimes you sing for the money and sometimes you sing for the show. Sometimes you sing to a pretty young thing with a big smile down in the front row. And sometimes you sing for the memory of a love gone awfully wrong. Yeah, sometimes you sing for the money and sometimes you sing for a song. Yes, sometimes it's just for the money, but sometimes it's all for the song. Well, thank you. Well, I have one more here for you tonight, and this one's called Poison in the Glass, and I will dedicate this to all the people this last Tuesday who won their primary elections in this state. I live in Michigan. This is my little songwriting cave in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I've written all my songs for the last 25 years right in this room. Yeah, it's for all the people that won their elections, and you know, they had the victory celebrations, and especially when in November when they win an election, it's like they've arrived. Problems are all gone. And, you know, it's only just begun. It's only just begun. So here's to all the despots and the dog catchers out there who win their seats at the table. What goes up comes down. What's in is later out. Cheers of adulation soon become an angry shout. One day you are the lion, and the next day you're the goat. So as we raise a toast to you, prepare your antidote. Thank you, Mr. Socrates. So nice to have you here. The citizens of Athens have made their feelings clear. We so enjoy your dialogues, such questions that you ask. But you really must be going now. There's poison in the glass. Poison, poison, poison in the glass. A knife between the shoulder blades, a serpent in the grass. Poison, poison, poison in the glass. The cat's among the pigeons, and poison's in the glass. Pay no attention to your wife, that superstitious thing. The Ides of March mean nothing. Rome is lovely in the spring. The senators will see you now if you will walk this way. Let Plutarch write your history. Let Shakespeare do the play. Poison, poison, poison in the glass. That knife between the shoulder blades. The serpent in the grass. Poison, poison, poison in the glass. The cat's among the pigeons, and poison's in the glass. You're queen of all the Nile, but now you've got a situation. The enemy is at your door. You've heard his invitation. Caesar, Mark Antony, and their brats that you begat. There's no one here to help you now. Is there, Cleopatra? Poison, poison, poison in the asp. The knife between your bosoms, or the serpent in their grasp. Poison, poison, poison in the glass. The cat's among the pigeons now, and poison's in the glass. And you, my gentle listener, I pray take no alarm. You're here among your friends tonight, and no one means you harm. So disregard this little verse, 'tis but a silly song. Eat, drink, and be merry. What could possibly go wrong? Poison, poison, poison in the glass. A knife between the shoulder blades, that serpent in the grass. Poison, poison, poison in the glass. The cat's among the pigeons, and poison's in the glass. And there you have it. Thanks for having me, folks. We'll see you somewhere else down the road.
Thank you so much, Joel. 15 minutes is not enough. If you've ever seen Joel, he's just getting warmed up. I mean, he's a one-man folk festival. And if you're going to be anywhere near East Lansing, Michigan on October the 7th, he will be performing at the 10-Pound Fiddle Coffee House. So check that out. Well, again, I want to thank everyone who has been donating to our tip jar. You'll find the information on how you can do that by looking in the chat feature here on Facebook or YouTube, or at our website, which is greenwichvillagefolkfestival.org. And it's your help that keeps this going every month. The first Sunday of the month. Mark your calendar like clockwork. We're here. Coming up later tonight, we still have some great performers. Christine Lavin, Peter Mayer, Greg Greenway, Deirdre McCullough, David Roth, and right now I have the pleasure of introducing a wonderful collection of artists. There's a recording and mixing studio. It's located outside of Boston, and it's called Fox Run Studio. It's been in operation since 1998, and it's really produced some of the finest contemporary folk music around. It's become known as an extremely relaxed and creative environment, and they have some great gear. And it's all thanks to a professional operation that's run by Neale Eckstein, who's also a songwriter, engineer, and visual artist. Check out his photographs. He's been documenting the folk community for the last couple of decades. Well, 8 years ago, Neale invited a couple of his friends, each a touring songwriter, to spend a week-long retreat at his studio. In addition to just hanging out, enjoying some good food and drink, they've been known to write a song or two. The event has turned into a yearly pilgrimage, and for these artists, they have a very simple philosophy about songs: write it, record it, and release it. At last count, they've produced over 30 songs, and many of them which have been recorded on the very same day they were written. The Fab Five consists of Neale, along with drummer, percussionist, and producer Jagoda, acclaimed singer-songwriters Matt Nakoa, Tom Prasado-Rao, and Eric Schwartz. And this past week happens to have been their annual treat, and I understand that they've worked up a number of new songs, and they will be releasing a full album later this year. We're thrilled to have them with us, or most of them with us, and I'm honored to be able to introduce them to you. In fact, Neale will explain about the one member who couldn't be with us tonight. But let me bring to you the Fox Run Five: Neale Eckstein, Jagoda, Matt Nakoa, Tom Prasado-Rao, and Eric Schwartz.
Wow.
Hey, folks.
Hey,
Hey.
We are, you might notice, missing one of our numbers here. We just put Tom in
The cool kids are swaying the gymnasium floor. The wallflowers are hanging in the shadows by the door. Slide to the left, swing to the right. On and on they spin into the night, and with each desperate turn, each stolen glance, one by one they learn the rules of the dance. Learn to lie as you look them in the face. child, let them lead. All the while, you're getting what you need. Round and round you go. In this lonely game of chance, don't stop until you know the rules of the dance. You may play the masquerade, start as partners, end as friends. The lights come up, the music fades, but the dance never ends.
Is that all right?
That was good.
Hi, all right, yeah, and that was Tom Prasado-Rao singing lead for a song that we wrote and recorded and shot video on 8 songs in 7 days, and recorded more video on another 4. So we had an unbelievably productive week, and I won't say the number of bottles of spirits which are in that list, but it was commensurate.
Not enough.
Tom was unable to join us tonight because he just had to get in an Uber and go to the airport because he's at a songwriting festival. He's going to one songwriting workshop in Lubbock, and the only way that he could get there was to leave before the show. So he sends his love and his regards, and feel free to email him later and harass him because he would really enjoy that. All right. This is one we wrote several years ago, one of our political tunes. And I hope you enjoy it in the way that one can enjoy outrage. Are you ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Wendy works at Walmart on the other side of town. Her husband had a bad heart, and now he ain't around. She can't afford the daycare, she can't leave the kid alone. And now when he's on the welfare, scared to lose her home. Yeah, when he's getting food stamps, while Walton's getting fat. I got a problem with that. Mama's little soldier came back a broken man, with the devil on his shoulder to tremble in his hand. With all the pills he's taken, still can't sleep at night. He calls up the VA and it's just another fight. Now he's shivering in a doorway, curled up on a Christmas welcome mat. I got a problem with that. Every time you do, know that there'll be 3 more pointing back at you. So go on and make a phone call and march on Washington. Speak your truth to power, it's up to everyone. 'Cause you know the founding fathers wanted to give us all a chance. Some much more than others get invited to the dance. Some may blame the Congress, some may blame the rich, some blame the sandbox bully boy who is clearly Putin's bitch. And now we keep on trying to steal the vote. They keep us at each other's throats. They say there's nothing we can do. Well, it's tempting, but it isn't true. 'Cause it still is a democracy, and if someone's expecting me to beg for scraps from some wannabe aristocrat, I got a problem with that. Got a problem with that. Problem with that. Problem with that.
Sing.
Okay, here we go. Where's your thing? Right here, right?
I
Got
need
it?
this.
Okay, good. Okay.
So,
Did they clap?
they did clap.
Okay.
They did clap.
They did.
I want to hear it.
They don't stop.
And,
Yeah, we clap for you, Eric. We clap for you.
thank you very
Yes,
much.
my life is complete. Very good.
And I'm going to tune because he just beat the hell out of this guitar. But you know what? It's a nice guitar, and it's still actually in tune. Yeah, we so enjoy these weeks. They are, we got into a groove, and we wrote a whole album's worth of songs this week. If we take a few that we wrote back in the winter that we haven't even released yet. So we're going to put out some kind of release. We'll figure out what that's going to be. And we miss Tom already. You know, it's a fun week. I'm going to do a song that we wrote kind of in the early days and went back, and this has always been one of my favorites. And it's a true story, and it's about one of the people in the room, and it's not me. And I'll leave it at that. Baby, can we talk? Turn our phones off. I poured you some tea. Come sit next to me. Can I take your hand? Baby, you were right. I've been somewhere else.
Now it's up to me to face you honestly, but please understand, there's nothing you did wrong, and you'll always have my love. We've been hanging on too long. Sometimes love is not enough. And when your friends ask why, you don't have to lie. Tell them it was me. We ended gracefully and parted as friends. And if you think it's right, I could stay the night. Will it be harder in the day to watch me drive away? There's nothing you did wrong, and you'll always have my love. We've been hanging on too long. Sometimes love is not enough. And if it's all right with you, I'd love to stay in touch. How I wish it wasn't true. Sometimes love is not enough. It's so tragic, but it's true. Sometimes love is not enough.
Yeah, we're clapping, Eric.
I heard some clapping. Hey.
Here you go.
All right, I'll trade you.
Trade you.
I still don't need this. Every time I put it
So I guess we got one more song to play for you. I hope that's enough. Is that enough?
Introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm going to introduce myself. My name's Matt Nakoa, and these guys let me hang around. They call me the Kid, and we hang around and write songs, and I feel very honored to be part of the group. It took a couple of years. I was living here at Neale's house, and they were coming and they were doing this songwriting thing, and they said, "You got to get out. We're doing this songwriting thing. It's for the grown-ups, you know." And And I said, please, can I stay and write songs
I don't know
with
if
you
you
guys?
played well with others, but you do all right.
You say that now, but we all have our methods, and they don't always agree, but we get there, and it's such a fascinating endeavor. Anyway, I'm grateful to be here. I'm Matt Nakoa.
We're grateful to have you.
Thank you. Neale Eckstein, Eric Schwartz, Jagoda, and Tom on a plane. And
Thanks for having us.
we're gonna do one more. This is a tune that we wrote. We wrote this time.
We wrote this like 2 days ago.
2, 3, 4, 5 days ago, somewhere in the blur.
Sometime this week.
And there was some lyrics, and I walked into the room, I think, and sat down and started strumming something. And they said, oh, it's a boy band song. And I said, well, sure. That is what you said, right?
It is.
A boy band song.
Yep.
So here's our boy band song. I don't think that's what it is, but that's the thing. We have no idea what it is. It's so new. Anyway, here you go. It's just after 3 a.m. I can't fall asleep again. The truth is pressing down on me. You and I weren't meant to be. But it's okay to be sorry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to get angry when good turns to bad. It's okay to leave when you don't belong. It's no sin to grieve. It's alright to be wrong. It's hard to feel you pull away when I sell my soul to make you stay. It's hard to watch this come undone. It's hard to know I'm not the one. But it's okay to be sorry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to get angry when good turns to bad. It's okay to leave when you don't belong. It's no sin to grieve. It's alright to be wrong. Everything breaks. Let's just own our mistakes. It's okay to be sorry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to get angry when good turns to bad. It's okay to leave. I don't belong. It's no sin to grieve. It's okay to be sorry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to get angry when good turns to bad. It's okay to leave when you don't belong. It's no sin to grieve. It's alright to be wrong. It's alright to be wrong. It's alright. It's alright.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Oh my God. It's a hit.
Hey!
Anybody know anybody that we can get?
And Fox Run 5.
Anybody know anybody in the music business?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Really a joy to play for
Fox
you
Run
all. Thank you.
5. Okay, that's it, Matt.
Thank you.
There's Matt Nakoa, Eric Schwartz, Neale Eckstein, Jagoda, and Tom Prasado-Rao. And if you want to learn more about them, you can go to foxron5.com. Our next performer, David Roth, just did a show for me here last week at the Middleburg Library, and he was just so appreciated by the audience. He's so happy he's out touring again. He's like, he's been released. He's a singer-songwriter from Cape Cod, and he writes songs on many, many topics. Some of his songs will bring you to tears. Some of his songs are hysterical and make you really laugh hard. He leads tours to Ireland, and he teaches songwriting, and he's just a pleasure to be around. He's just a good soul. So please welcome David Roth.
Hey, thank you, Sonny. What a pleasure it was to see you in person last week. And yes, and it was great to be out seeing people again. And now I'm back in a basement, you know, so go figure. That's the life of a folk singer. There's a new name in our awareness. You have climbed a height where few have gone. This is a wondrous appointment. Ketanji Brown Jackson. There are those who did oppose you. There are those who lent support. One generation from segregation. We've got a new judge on our court. Ketanji, Justice Ketanji. Oh, what a bar you raise. Ketanji, Justice Ketanji. We sing your name with praise. History changes. In an instant, consciousness shifts. When you raised your hand, you raised us all. We will be better for your gifts. Ketanji, Justice Ketanji. Oh, what a bar you raise. Ketanji, Justice Ketanji. We sing your name with praise and rise above the spite of shallow haters who have lost their way. You are the light, you are the change. Bring us to a brand new day. There's a new name in our awareness. You have climbed a height where few have gone, and I stand in the light of your guidance. Ketanji Brown Jackson. Ketanji, Justice Ketanji. Oh, what a bar you raise. Ketanji, Justice Ketanji. We sing your name with praise. Justice Ketanji. Oh, what a bar you raise. Ketanji, Justice Ketanji. We sing your name with praise. 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 kanji. Thank you. I didn't want that historical moment to go completely overlooked in the wake of everything else that was going on at the time and continues to go on at the time. So I switched guitars. I wanted to make sure you knew that I played more than one instrument. And I'm proud to present this co-write I did with the fabulous Carla Ulbrich of my mother's home birth state of New Jersey. Carla calls herself a professional smart aleck, but she's a really good songwriter. And we got together on something that had been on both of our minds sometime last year. You know, people, I'm a baby boomer. No way to hide that. And finding I'm having the same conversations everywhere I go, you know, with the same people who are in my category. So we got together and we put this together. Every Sunday at 2:15, just as sure as this old planet spins, a weekly debacle, a game of pinochle, and the same conversation begins. Most people would speak of the old days, remember, recall, reminisce. But whenever this crew gets together, it often goes much more like this. Oi, my heart, oi, my liver, oi, my thyroid, oi, my skin, oi, my prostate, oh my gosh, mate, it's the organ recital again. Each player takes a turn with a solo, and there's not a tuxedo in sight. It's tank tops and shorts that were made in Bermuda, and sandals, not wingtips tonight. It's long and it's boring, there's no intermission, no rhythm, no reason, no rhyme. And just when you thought it was over, somebody shouts one more time. Oi, my lungs, my lumbago, my arthritis whenever it rains, my patella, let me tell you, it's the organ recital again. Growing old isn't for sissies. If you let it, it could drive you crazy. It gets tougher and tougher the longer you live, but it's better than pushing up daisies. Ray nods. So now the recital is over, but this opus is nothing unique. We just stick to the classics and practice and practice and prepare for the encore next week. Oi, my back, oi, my bladder, oi, my sphincter, oi, my spleen, oi, my gas, oi, my goiter. It's the organ recital again. Everybody, it's the organ recital again. Sing it if you relate to it. It's the organ recital again. To get an oi from a goy is no small thing. Thank you, Christine. Well, thank you all for having me back. It's a pleasure, and what an amazing lineup. And I haven't seen Deirdre McCullough in years. Hi, Deirdre. It's wonderful to see you. The rest of you I've seen on, and I want to thank Ron for promoting folk music all these years, and Sonny, of course, for just being Sonny. She's not named that by accident. This song may sound like it was written yesterday, but I actually wrote it with my friend from Virginia, Roger Tomhave. almost 5 years ago. If anybody tells you there's no politics in guns, and that now is not the time to change the laws, just meet the gaze of those who've lost family or friends, and tell me how we justify the cause. It's well and good to send out loving thoughts and loving prayers, but by now these thoughts and prayers are not enough. All the good intentions and the cries to make a change must be followed up with action and rebuff. So change the laws, change the laws, change the contract, change the clause, change the mind, and change the cause. Change the laws, change the laws. If politicians say do not politicize these things, or get caught up in the moment or in haste, oh, I say it's precisely what we need to speak about before another single life is wasted. So change the laws, change the laws, change the contract, change the clause, change the mind, and change the cause. Change the laws, change the laws. I will not be silenced, though the silencers abound. I will not be led by those opposed to common ground. If anybody tells you there's no politics in guns, they're the ones who know that money runs the show. And as long as nothing changes, they'll be happy and content, and they'll do their best to keep the status quo. So change the laws, change the laws, change the contract, change the clause, change the mind, and change the cause. Change the laws, change the laws, change the mind, and change the cause. Change the laws, change the laws.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you, David. What a powerful song to end with. What a great set. And I was just looking at David's website, and I think all of you out there should do the same, davidrothmusic.com. He's going to be in North Carolina later this week, and he's got some great dates throughout the year, so check him out. He might be in your neighborhood. Well, again, I want to thank everybody who's been donating to the tip jar. You're the ones that keep this festival going. This is a nonprofit organization. You can read all about it at the website, greenwichvillagefolkfestival.org. And the tips that you put in there help to keep this running. It's split between the artists and organizational costs to keep this operating. And I think it's a worthy cause. And we've all been having a great time every month. And don't forget, you can also look at the archives. If you missed any of the months, check them out. They're all out there. Well, our next performer, it's hard to believe it, but for nearly 5 decades, our next artist has been reaching audiences with songs that, well, they give us hope, inspiration to deal with the struggles of everyday loss in life. And also celebrate life. Her musical career began in New York City when the Village was the epicenter of the folk revival. She spent time as a sound engineer at Folk City, received her theater degree from Vassar, where she released her first album at the age of 19. She took her degree in guitar, headed out on the road, She would eventually major in jazz guitar at Wisconsin Conservatory of Music. She released 3 albums on the pioneering women's music label Olivia Records, and her first album for Olivia, an album called Don't Doubt, was listed as one of the 25 classic women's music albums by Ms. Magazine. And her latest album, whoa, it is a gem titled Endless Grace. And in June, it reached #1 on the folk DJ chart. And a song from the album, Shoulder to the Wheel, was the #1 song for June as well. Can't wait to see what July has to say. Folks in the Berkeley, California area should mark their calendars because Deirdre will be having an album release celebration at the Back Room on August 21st. And we are delighted that she's with us tonight. Please welcome Deirdre McAuliffe.
Hi, Ron. Thank you for a wonderful intro. Thank you for Folk Music Notebook and all that you do. It really is quite an honor to be here. I was so glad when Rod McDonald reached out to me to take part of this. I know Rod and Lili from our Folk City days back in the 80s, where we dusted many a bar stool at Folk City, or each of us taking the stage for our own shows like we own the place. So it's good to see that. Sonny and David, I haven't seen either of you in a long, long time. And Greg Greenway, I just spent a week with last week, or week before last at Susie, and got to know. So this is great company to be in, and I'm really glad to be here. The song that Rod just mentioned, Shoulder to the Wheel, you know, during the pandemic, we put new words in our vocabulary. Pandemic, we probably weren't using too often. COVID for one, but also essential workers. And if you had asked me, or probably anybody before this experience we've had, who are the essential workers? I don't know, I would have said police, firefighters, medical people. My list would have been fairly short, and we learned that that yes, those are essential workers, but there's a whole other range of people that are essential to us getting by and getting through the pandemic. So people that stock the grocery shelves, truck drivers that worked across the country, all of those who, as Marge Piercy said, get up day after day and do the work that is before them. So Shoulder for the Wheel is for them. Day begins long before the dawn. Food's on the table and the coffee's on. The kids are dressed and headed off to school. They know mama don't play, so don't act a fool. Keys in hand, her eyes on the prize. Always working shoulder to the wheel. Stone by stone, shoulder to the wheel. Stone by stone, shoulder to the wheel. Stone by stone, stone by stone. He loves the quiet of the rig at night. Checks the GPS by the pale moonlight. 6 hours in, 5 more to go. Miles and minutes, the truckers load. The ribbon highway stretches without end. Each inch traveled shoulder to the wheel. Stone by stone, shoulder to the wheel. Stone by stone, shoulder to the wheel. Stone by stone. Since time has begun, the work of the world has been done by those who rise to the task without fanfare or ego, with steadfast intention go shoulder to the wheel. Shoulder to the wheel. Shoulder to the wheel. have the courage, we have the will to keep moving forward, though it's all uphill. The road is rocky, the road is long, but our eyes are clear and our hearts are strong. There is nothing we cannot achieve as long as we build shoulder to the wheel, stone by stone, shoulder to the wheel, stone by stone, shoulder to the wheel, stone by stone, stone by stone, stone by stone, stone by stone. The day begins long before the dawn. Okay, now I'm coming to you from just south of Atlanta. So I'm down in Georgia. I've been down here for 28 years now. And school started this week. And I'm originally, I grew up in New York, and it's something every August for 28 years I've never quite gotten used to, is that school starts back in August here in the South. I no longer have a school-age child. My 29-year-old son is next door, hopefully leaving mom all the bandwidth by not playing video games. But I noticed it driving around because suddenly the school zone, you're supposed to slow down when you're driving through a school zone and those lights are on again. I'm like, oh, right, it's August. It's hot as hell and the kids have to go back to school. It's always a shock to my system. And, there's, even though they get the same amount of vacation time as kids up north, because they stop towards the end of May, I kind of feel like their summer is cut short and that they're not allowed to be kids. That's my bias, but I definitely am part of the generation that had what I call free-range childhoods, where it was relatively safe for us to roam from our houses without adult supervision. As long as you were back home, if you lived in the city like I did, before the street lights came on. I think it led for good use of the imagination. It's such a precious time. Grandpa's salt and pepper grate peeks out from his cap. Grandma fumbles with the radio, strapped into a car seat, waking from a nap and rocking the rhythm of the road. Safe within their circle, protected by their care, delightfully enchanted by the magic in the air. Above me, mighty stars blaze into the night, a place where hopes and dreams learn to fly. Banana moon sky, banana moon sky. I am the ruler of the world, tumbling down the streets, my conquered landscapes fading into dream. The afternoon adventure is quickly turned into retreat, and I race the street lights slowly warming beam. As dusk settles the city, I do not feel alone. I know I have a compass, and it always leads me home. Above mighty stars blaze into the night, a place where hopes and dreams learn to fly. Banana moon sky, banana moon sky. Every child deserves to know a place where they belong, to have their days of wonder, shelter from the storm. And now I'm a mother, my child sits in the back, he quietly fumbles with the radio. Strapped into a booster seat, waking from a nap, rocking the rhythm of the road. Safe within my circle, protected by my care, delightfully enchanted by the magic in the air. Above us, mighty stars blaze into the night, a place where hopes and dreams were made to fly. Banana moon sky, banana moon sky. Every child deserves to know a place where they belong. I'm going to switch guitars because, like the great David Roth, I also play more than one instrument. Tangled up. There we go. Let me check the tuning because it is here in humid Georgia. As Ron mentioned, the new album is called Endless Grace, and there are 11 songs on the album, and I'd say about a third of them were actually written during the pandemic. And two of them really, for me, came from a place of opposite ends. One was kind of talking about the hellish hellscape we were living through, and trying to survive. And the other, which surprised me, was written in the earliest part of the pandemic, and it was kind of looking forward and saying we'd get through this. And I did write that one first. I guess I needed to convince myself that everything was going to be fine. But we are moving forward, and there is much to be thankful for. As far as you can see, on a crisp, clear day, for all that we have lost, life still finds a way. Every note we've ever sung still rings. The coldest winter frost will finally pass. With spring, the roads that led us here were knit by fate. No matter how we try, there is no escape. We will know joy, we will know loss and pain. We will know love whose fickle wants will wax and wane. Our wounds are deep, and so's our laughter. The thread that joins them informs our faith. If you need a place to shelter, come join the dance. That's how we pray. Riddle through our days as we try to grasp how the answers are less prime than the questions asked. Time holds us in a soft embrace and gives each waking moment some small share of grace. Our wounds are deep, and so's our laughter. The thread that joins them informs our faith. If you need a place to shelter, come join the dance. That's how we pray. Nothing's ever promised. We've learned how to survive by choosing to make caring for each other be the guide. Our wounds are deep, and so's our laughter. The thread that joins them informs our faith. If you need a place to shelter, come join the dance. That's how we pray. Our wounds are deep, and so's our laughter. The thread that joins them informs our faith. If you need a place to shelter, come join the dance. That's how we pray. Come join the dance. That's how we pray. Thank you all, Greenwich Village Folk Festival, for having me here.
Deirdre McCullough. Deirdre, can you see this?
Oh my goodness! Yes.
When was it? How long ago was this?
1985. It came out in January of '85.
Well, I still have it, my dear.
Yes. Do you still? Yes, but do you still have a turntable to play it on?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Oh my goodness, you're better than me because I don't even have. I have one, but it's not even hooked up. So.
Deirdre, it is so great to see you. You look great. You sound great, and I'm glad you're still performing. And if anybody wants to check out more about Deirdre, you can check out her website, Deirdre McCullough. That's DeirdreMcCullough.com. Deirdre McCullough, the great Deirdre McCullough. Oh, it's so nice to see you. That was beautiful. And moving on, they do these shows every month. We do these shows. I guess I'm part of the group now. And September 4th, we're performers. We're not going to name all the names. I'll throw a couple at you since we're talking about women right now. Tracy Grammer and Ann Hills. How's that for a nice combination? Plus others, and Ron may give you the others. And I'm going to cheat a little bit and tell you that in October, there's going to be another Phil Ochs song night. And we'll put that together and tell you more about it later. But Don't forget, the beginning of our first Sunday in October, you can hear the songs of Phil Ochs. All right, moving on to our next performer. I've known this man for now exactly 30 years. I met him at the Falcon Ridge Folk Festival. I was the judge for the showcase. That was the first year they did it. And I put this guy in the showcase. And he's been with me ever since. He's become part of the Phil Ochs Song Nights. He does concerts for me up here. He was part of the Boston folk scene. And then I teamed up with Reggie Harris. I'm talking about Greg Greenway, of course. You figured that out. And Greg Greenway and Reggie Harris have put together a show called Deeper Than the Skin, which deals with music and race, and it's really fabulous. And they have been invited to perform on August 22nd at the Chautauqua Institute. So I'm very proud of them. They're moving forward with the beautiful work that they do. And now you're going to get a sample of the beautiful work of my dear friend, Greg Greenway.
Thank you, Sonny. And I especially want to thank Brandon O'Sullivan, my partner in crime, that I abandoned once again to sing. And I'm counting on you to unmute me because I can't see that far. So thank you, Brandon, for all that you do. And thank you, Sonny. Here's a song for a world divided, where forces would have us meet as strangers. On Jericho Road. At the edge of Jericho Road, beneath the street lights, yellow-orange glow, the feared and the fallen go in the way of predator and prey. No one spared, 'cause hate is too great a weight to bear. In a cage of shadows we meet, naked, bloodied in the street, and at the mercy at the feet of the way of predator and prey. No one spared, 'cause hate is too great a weight to bear. When the darkness on the shattered pavement, the better angels fade, blurred in slumber, murdered by numbers. Do you know my name? Do you know my name? But I believe in you, 'cause everyone holds some part of the truth. And now I'm in your way. Do we stay on Jericho Road, forever going nowhere? And hate is too great a weight to bear. 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 Thank you very much. For those of you who might have been at the Falcon Ridge Folk Festival last weekend, you'll be very glad to hear that I actually have a voice. Last week, my cold just jumped right on my vocal cords, literally between the car and going on stage. And I got by with a little help from my friends. Fortunately, everybody on stage with me sang, and the audience sang with me and got me through it. And man, I'm happy to have a voice again, yay! But there are certain parts of it, who knows, like I had no idea what was going to happen on the last note. But I'd like to sing a song written for my mom and dedicated to all of us musicians, all of the folks that you have seen here this night, because at some point in our life we made a choice about music. And there are a lot of really talented people that you've seen here tonight, and you will continue to see, who had a lot of choices about what they wanted to do in this world. But music was this magical thing that transported us. And for me, it was a vehicle to get me from where I grew up and the world in which I grew up to a world like this, with folks like you around it. And in so doing, I moved into a place that my parents had no understanding and no ability to understand. My mom, in particular, just really didn't understand what I wanted to do, or even what I even talked about in my music. And I used to tell her that, Mom, you're not by yourself. So this is for her and for all of us who jumped the cliff with wings to fly. And at our best, maybe we do change the world a little bit, and at our worst, we heal ourselves. This is called The Weight of Feathers. You were never in the same place twice, as balls of fire and balls of ice spin in space of their own device. Somehow it holds together, and all the creatures great and small imagine life before the fall. They see their own and then guess it all. Somehow it holds together, but the time will come when the winds arise. You stare across the great divide and jump the cliffs with a dream to fly without knowing the weight of feathers. The curtains rise and the story's told. The gaps are filled with blood and gold. Martyrs mask the remaining holes. Somehow it holds together. And no men in their drafty homes, with crowded heads and achy bones, knowing all anyone could know, part of them young forever. But they've earned their peace with an empty sky, with broken hearts, with battle cries. The day they jump the cliffs with a dream to fly without knowing the weight of feathers. Flying, falling, what's the difference now?
take with me your deep blue eyes, your fondest hopes, your best advice. We've disagreed almost all our lives. How could that ever matter? All those years just to provide for me the thing you could never try. To jump the cliffs with a dream to fly without knowing the weight of feathers. Yes, I jump the cliffs with a dream to fly without knowing the weight of feathers. Thank you. And there's a picture of my mom right there. And I caught her in a smile, and she looks at me when I'm playing piano and still says, "What are you going to do with your life, son?" This, Mom. Hey, yes. Yeah, we're coming out of this pandemic thing, and I'm telling you, did I miss playing for audiences, for live people? This is wonderful, 2 dimensions, but man, is it great to play for actual living people. So this brought about sort of I don't know how you do this, stealing your own lyrics, but I used lyrics in a song that I wanted to bring back again because we need to be appreciative of each other and of our time. And this says, "Hello, hello, hello, so good to see your smile." But the line that I stole from another song is, "So much has to happen between hello and goodbye." And it's just so true. So I find myself, after living in Boston, in a little town in the South, who knew? Wandered into the shadows of a warm September day. The sun slanted down on this little town like a friend from far away. Once I would not have been caught dead in a place like this. I'm glad to be found here alive. It's hard to explain it, I fought it, I became it. Now I'm late, but I finally arrived. So hello. So good to see your smile. Would not have made it all of this way without these good friends of mine. So hello, hello, hello. Been such a long, long time. Your faces are the moon and the stars of my September sky. I cannot walk in a straight line without going in circles, my friend. It's all around me. Everything is moving beyond my proving, past where the sidewalk ends. Now it's more than a children's story. It's less than a hero's tale. It's just what you see here. It's just you and me here, filling in the details. So hello. To see your smile. I would not have made it all of this way without these good friends of mine. So hello, hello, hello. It's been such a long, long time. Your faces, they are the moon and the stars of my September sky. Come September, sleep so deep. Yellow lines on the freeway invade my dream. something warm and familiar when the shadows grow deep and long, like a stone thrown in a pool of memories, and the ripples go on and on. Now there are only 3 verses in this song, my friend. You're born, you live, you die, and so much has to happen between hello and goodbye. There's so much has to happen between hello and goodbye. So hello, hello, hello. It's so good to see your smile. I would not have made it all of this way without these good friends of mine. So hello, hello, hello. It's been such a long, long time. Your faces are the moon and the stars in my September sky. Your faces, they are the moon and the stars in my September sky. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Greg Greenway. Wow, what a great set. And I hope all of you watching today realize this. He's doing double duty. Not only did he prep and sing that wonderful set, but he's also been working with audio tonight, getting this festival going. Both Greg Greenway and Brandon O'Sullivan deserve a big round of applause for all the great work they do to make this possible each month. So thank you, Brandon and Greg. And Greg, again, thank you for that set. By the way, don't forget, everybody out there, check out his wonderful album, Songs from the Beginning. I think he's got a new one coming, so we're looking forward to that as well. Well, we're getting closer to the end. We've got 2 more performers to go, including Christine Lavin, who normally is a co-MC, but we've given her a spotlight tonight. She'll be coming up in a little while. Before we introduce our next guest, I do want to again remind everybody and thank everybody who has already given to our tip jar. And for the rest of you, if you're able to throw a couple bucks to this festival, it's greatly appreciated and it helps keep this going every month. We're on the first Sunday of every month from 7 to approximately 10 p.m. So your help keeps it going. And you'll find all that information, by the way, in either the YouTube page or Facebook page, or just go to GreenwichVillageFolkFestival.org and you can get all the information there. We're a 501c3, so it all helps. Well, our next performer is coming to us from his home in Stillwater, Minnesota. He is a singer-songwriter that has been on the scene for, well, over 25 years now. And in addition to a growing fan base, he can count a sizable group of songwriters as admirers of his work. In fact, Kathy Mattea, David Wilcox, Claudia Schmidt, Ann Hills, Priscilla Herdman, Daryl Purpose, Billy Jonas, and Ronnie Cox have all recorded a Peter Mayer song. And that's just naming a few. His songs can be found in songbooks, church hymnals, radio playlists across the country. He's recorded 11 albums. He's a recipient of a fellowship from the McKnight and the Bush Foundations. And next weekend, he's going to be performing at Story Hill Fest at the Clearwater Forest Camp in Deerwood, Minnesota. But tonight, we are so grateful that he could be with us here to treat us to a few songs. Let's go to Minnesota now and welcome Peter Mayer.
Well, thank you, Ron. I have to say, I'm very just overwhelmed by the weight of everything that's come before me here. I very honored to be in all of your company, and thank you for letting me be here. So, okay. I'd like to start out by a song I wrote. Oh, wait a minute. Bear with me. Sorry, everybody. I'm realizing my guitar isn't plugged in. Sorry. I'm going to just mute my rig here. I kept turning it up, and there it is. So you may be familiar with Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk who recently passed away. And he wrote many books about mindfulness. And I love his work. And he had one of his many expressions is, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. And, you know, he talks about mindfulness as being this way of being present to the moment and trying to sort of still our minds, which are always rushing forward and backward and causing us to be anxious, but instead concentrating on the moment as a way of finding joy, really. And so he feels that joy is essential to life, to be a whole human being. It's not just a luxury, but it's really an essential thing in life. And so anyway, this is a song inspired by that, it's simply called Happiness. You have been racing, running from something or chasing some demon away. And so every day's the same old thing. When the bells of morning ring and you think that your life is like you're riding on a train with happiness, a destination that you may only reach one day. But there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. There's no place you need to run to. Every place is there inside you. Everywhere you long to be. And joy whenever you may know it, happens only in this moment, in this very cup of tea. So here and now is where you disembark, where you arrive and not depart, where you start to stop and feel you're not just riding on a train with happiness, a destination that you may only reach one day. Because there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. So here and now is where you disembark, arrive and not depart, where you start to stop and feel you're not just riding on a train with happiness, a destination that you may only reach one day. Because there is no way to happiness.
happiness is the way.
Thank you. Well, I've been raising two kids. They're 11 and 15 now. Two girls. And when I was when the girls were younger, somebody shared with me a metaphor for parenting that they had heard somebody use this metaphor, that parenting was like having your heart walk around on the outside of your body. And I just thought that was a wonderful metaphor. And so I started a few lines of a song idea, but I never finished it. I think because I was too tired, had young kids. And so I finally did finish the song inspired by that idea. This is a song called Little Heart. All right. Hey, here's one thing that you could do. Take out the heart inside of you, give it arms and legs, the sweetest face. Then watch your heart crawl around, try to stand up and then fall down while you are looking on, protective and afraid. And when your little heart turns 5, give it a hug and kiss goodbye, and watch it walk alone into a great big school, backpack nearly too big to carry, big kids like giants everywhere, and sit there helplessly as tears well up in you. Seems like a sensible thing to do. By then you may have some regrets that you let your heart out of your chest. But once you take it out, it never fits back in, because your heart grows and grows, and learns things you don't even know, spends less time with you to spend more time with friends. And even worse, they say you should prepare your heart to leave for good, teach it how to live and make it on its own, until there finally comes a day when your heart moves away and you can only hear it on the telephone. May sound crazy, but it's so.
would ever think it's true? Your heart does not belong to you. You can hold it close, try to keep it safe. Sing your heart a lullaby, cheer it on, and when it's time, send it on its way. Ever think it's true? Your heart does not belong to you. You can hold it close, try to keep it safe. Sing your heart a lullaby, cheer it on, and when it's time, send it on its way. So here's one thing that you could do. Take out the heart inside of you, give it arms and legs, the sweetest face, then watch your heart crawl around, try to stand up and then fall down. See it walking now, see it smile and wave. Thanks, everybody. Okay, well, I have one more song, of course, for you. This is so at a Unitarian Universalist church where I often play in UU churches, and one church in particular close by here that I play every year for a service where they have something called water communion. And water communion is where people who have been traveling during the summer, wherever they are, gather some water and they bring it home. And then in the fall, when they have this service, they ceremoniously process the water from all parts of the world, particularly part of the region, you know, up the aisle and from the waters from the north, south, east, and west. And it's this beautiful ceremony, not only a celebration of the earth, but a just of coming together again. And so I was inspired to write this song just called Water. And I should have been tuning while I was telling you that story. But this is one of the things that even after all these years of playing music, I can't seem to do is multitask. You know, tune my guitar while I'm chatting. So bear with me, please. Okay. So thanks again, everybody, for letting me be a part of this. Thanks for bringing me into this circle. Let's see. All right. I'll turn my guitar a little bit down here. Okay, I gotta just feel this a little bit. We are molecules, 2 H's and 1 O. And in most places we are ice and we are cold. But sometimes in the universe, when we find a place like Earth, where the sun is shining and the lovely breezes blow, we are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free and the rain comes down, flowing over and on.
underground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. We are mist and we are waves upon the sand. We're the ancient holy place where life began. We are tea and morning showers, home to seahorses and flounders, cleaning shirts and quenching thirst and floating motorboats. We are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. We are mirrors to the sky, we shine of all the stars at night, sun and moon and clouds as they go by. If you find the time, then here's what you should do. Take your heart down to the shore and be renewed. Climb into your sloop and ride us, leap into us, stand beside us. We will turn your planet world the brightest shade of blue. We are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. We are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. Coming together again. Coming together again. Coming together again. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter Mayer. That was a wonderful start. And for those of you out there who want to know more about Peter, you can go to his website, and he's different. All the others are .com, but Peter Mayer is .net. So that's Peter, MAYER.net, if you want to learn more about him and see what he has coming up soon. Well, now it is my great honor to introduce somebody I have known since I can remember, and I have always admired her energy, her creativity, her love of people, the way she treats people, the way she tries to bring people together. She is such a hard worker, and she's just always full of new ideas, always sharing the ideas, always trying to get people to work together and come together, and I just love listening to her because her songs are so darn creative. Please welcome the most wonderful person, Miss Christine Lavin.
Oh, Sonny, thank you so much. That is so nice. Did you notice that Peter Mayer looks very much like David Roth? I think they could do like an updated Smothers Brothers kind of thing.
There you go again, putting things together.
Well, before I sing, I wanted to say this. Daniel Cainer kicked us off from Edinburgh, where the Fringe Festival is 25 days long. Dave Rowe followed, and he told us his love life will never be a folk song. Lili Añel stopped John Leguizamo's Broadway show because she just laughs too loud. And Joel Mavis told us about a special place in hell where, guess what? Lindsey Graham, you're allowed. Then we heard from the Fox Run 5. Neil, Jagoda, Tom, Eric, and Matt show us joining forces makes music come alive. David Roth sang a song about one thing that must be done. Change the laws, change the laws, change the laws about guns. Deirdre McCalla taught us something sensible. Truck drivers, grocery workers, cashiers are all essential. Greg Greenway sang a song for a world divided. There's still so many of us, still so misguided. But to his mom, and to all your moms, we want you to know your sons and daughters are on the right path, especially if they have that special glow. Peter Mayer taught us happiness is the way. Let's contemplate that tonight when we all kneel down to pray. Now it's my job to tie things up and end this night of song. So don't forget, Daniel Cainer is at the Edinburgh Festival, which is 25 days long. Now, I'd also like to say a shout out to Eileen and Alan Pepper. Alan owned the Bottom Line for 30 years. So many of us played there. We met there. We had such a great time. He let us in for free. And we love that they watch every single one of these Greenwich Village Folk Festival shows. And I'm going to start out with the song which was inspired by Janice Ian. She's at Swannanoa right now, teaching songwriting. But I wrote this way back in 1985. Do you remember that song by Janice Ian? The one where she complains about not getting chosen for the basketball team? I'm sorry, that's a really cheap rhyme, but her song went, for those whose names are never called when choosing sides for basketball. Remember that depressing song? I would have written about that, but she done it first. 'Cause when you're 5'2", all right, 5'1.5", and everybody else in the whole gym class is 5'3", and even taller, it hurts. Truth is, I hadn't thought about that for years, but then a recent phone call rekindled all those fears. A softball game, Robin Bateau said, and you're invited. Softball, great! That's my game. Why, softball's practically my middle name. I'll be right over, I said, sounding excited. Even though I can't throw, I can't hit, I can't run, I must admit, I can't catch, I can't pitch. In softball I have not found my niche. But I don't let details get in my way. Team sports, ooh, that's what I loves to play. I got dressed, got my sneakers tied, made it to the park in time for choosing sides. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. No, I don't own a club, but I can always borrow from the other team. Pick me, I won't bore you, this part goes on for a really, really, really long time. Because 20 people showed up to play. They picked 10 to a side, and as the ranks of the unchosen were depleted and the ranks of the chosen swelled, and I was still standing there, well, deja vu, I was the last one chosen. Even after the overdressed Felicity Rosen. I don't know if you know this girl, but she was wearing high heels, stockings with seams, and those Lee stick-on nails. And they put me in a field so far out and to the right, I was practically out of sight. But everybody said I had a real good day. I didn't make any errors. I didn't make any plays. See, the ball never actually came out my way, and I figured, well, just gonna be one of those days. Coming up to bat was a brand new kind of humbling experience. I took one swing and missed. That was no surprise. I took another swing and missed. That was no surprise. Then I practiced strategy. I let one go by. The umpire called it a ball. I had a proud moment, which made me overconfident. Because then he threw one I just could not resist. I swung and I actually hit it. But it was a pathetic little dribbler that went bloop, 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 right over to the pitcher. He threw it over to first. And again, none of this is any kind of a surprise, but as I was walking to the bench to pick up my borrowed glove, the captain of the other team said to the captain of my team, "Hey, it's okay. She really doesn't know how to play, so let's not count her outs." I said, "What? Don't count my... I want you to count my outs. I want my outs to count." Which made me instantly unpopular with my entire team. So I said, "Oh, I get it. Don't count my outs. That's good strategy too. Thank you for being such a sensitive human being." I was babbling like an idiot. Well, eventually I resumed my place in the outfield. Continued watching The dandelions grow and blossom, blow away in the chilly wind. Continued watching the clouds making ugly formations in the sky, and it wasn't long before I began to question my worth as a human being and my reason for living. But then, top of the 7th, 2 on, 2 out, a crack of the bat's a mighty clout. My whole team turned and cringed to see that speeding ball was heading vaguely toward me. I ran as fast as I could. I said a prayer. I stuck out my glove. The ball landed in there. No one could believe it on either team. They whooped and hollered and screamed, and total strangers watching clapped and cheered. Aware that God had performed a miracle here, I was carried to the bench. I was handed a beer. Then the clouds broke apart. And then the sun reappeared. No, it didn't. I'm lying about that part. But everything else happened. I wanted to live again. Oh, by the way, we lost that game 17-3. But I considered it a moral victory. And Janice Ian, wherever you might be, it's want to know it? Take heart. There's hope for you, 'cause there's hope for me. Oh, take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Oh, buy me some peanuts. I'll buy you Cracker Jacks. Long as you count my outs when I come up to bat. Oh, now it's root for both teams. Win or lose, lose or win. We're all the same. Oh, won't you please take me out to the old ball game? Come on, please take me out to the old ball game.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I know there's some of you in the show who were actually sang on that recording back in 1985. And I got to tell you, I haven't done the song in a long time, but people used to come up to me after I do that song after a show, and they'd make their friends walk away because they want to have like a private moment with me. And they say something like, you know that baseball song? Something terrible happened to me in sports. I'm so glad you wrote that song. And I always want to say, get away from me, you loser! But I don't, because I'm a folk singer. So I say, thank you for sharing that with me. I know everybody thinks I'm nice. I'm not always so nice. I'm not always. But, before I get to the next song, I got to tell you, there's a guy watching named Aaron Gobler. And he's got this incredible radio show that he does all by himself once a week, where he interviews a person, any person from any walk of life. I'm the first musician who actually was a guest on a show. And he asks you, what are your 3 most memorable songs that you, there's another M word, most memorable and meaningful song that, the 3 in your life, and why? And then he talks to you for like 45 minutes about, and he plays those songs for everybody. So go to Aaron's Radio. It's AARONSRADIO.show and sign up for my 3 songs. It's a wonderful opportunity to let the world know 3 songs. And don't pick any of mine, because then that would look sort of, like set up. But anyway, that song that I wrote in 1985, 15 years later, Lincoln Center commissioned me to write a new song about baseball because of that song. And I used to sell Cracker Jacks in the Orange Bowl for the Miami Dolphins. So I thought, what if I go to Yankee Stadium, interview the oldest living Cracker Jack vendor, and then do a song about him, and then have him come out with his Cracker Jack tray at Lincoln Center. They gave me a year. I was like waking up every day with a school assignment hanging over my head. And so the Lincoln Center said, call Yankees, tell them you have our blessing. Well, I had to call the Yankees for 3 days, over and over and over again, because nobody knew what to do with this thing. My request to meet the oldest living Cracker Jack vendor. I want to find stories from him and write a song about him. That's what. And I finally got this guy in the front office who said, "Ma'am, you do not understand the legal ramifications of what you are asking." I said, "What legal ramifications?" He goes, "New York Yankee is a trademark term. Cracker Jack is a trademark term. If we let you do this," and we're not saying we will, if we do, it could never happen within a year, "you do not understand the legal ramifications of what you're asking." This is after 3 days of phone calls. So I said, well, maybe I should write a song about how the legal profession is ruining a nice moment for baseball and music to connect. And he goes, "Oh, yeah? Well, maybe you should write a song about me hanging up on you." Then I said, "Oh, wait, don't hang up. Let me ask you a question first." I said, "Is this George Costanza I'm speaking with?" And then the guy hung up, because I guess that's like the worst thing you could ever call a guy is George Costanza. So I ended up writing a completely different song. I did it outside Lincoln Center. But the night before, I had a brainstorm. I thought, the New York Yankees cannot prevent me from making up a song about a Cracker Jack vendor. So that's what I've written. And I actually sang it with the lyrics in front of me, but I'm going to just do it now. This is called The Legal Ramifications of a Cracker Jack Vendor Who Works in Yankee Stadium. His name is Joe. He sells Cracker Jacks in Yankee Stadium. Her name is Flo. She's getting kind of hungry, thinks I'm gonna get me some. Oh, it's been a long time since Flo ate Cracker Jacks. She forgot about the free prize. She starts chowing down and does not know a plastic yo-yo is hidden inside. Flo starts choking on the yo-yo. The people sitting around her all say, "Uh-oh." The man behind her does a Heimlich maneuver. Yo-yo shoots out like a bullet from a Luger. Yo-yo hits an old lady acting on her cell phone, paralyzes her temporarily. She hangs up the cell phone, then falls over the railing and screams, "Oh, what's to become of me?" It's not that sad. She was a criminal on the 10 most wanted list. She even stole the tickets to this baseball game, so let's face it, she won't be missed. A seeing-eyed dog picks up her cell phone, gives it to his owner. Dog thought it was an old bone. The blind guy calls a pal in Timbuktu. He calls his wife, his girlfriend, and his bookie too. People sitting near the blind guy start yelling they're sick of his yakety-yak. But he don't care. He keeps on talking. He tells his dog to attack. The seeing-eyed dog bites a tiny baby. Don't worry, doesn't hurt it that much. But the mommy gets mad. She lunges at the dog. She gives him a great big shove. The dog lands on a man eating a bowl of chop suey. He's a Japanese tourist here to cheer Matsui. Japanese guy's allergic to dogs and cats. He starts having an asthma and a heart attack. People sitting near him start screaming, "Somebody get the medics and tell them to bring a defibrillator." But it broke last week in the clubhouse in an unsuccessful attempt to revive an elderly waiter. Just then Derek Jeter hits a foul ball into the section of the stands. As luck would have it, the ball comes down in the Japanese guy's hands. Just for a second, the stadium is hushed, followed by a tremendous rush. The crowd pounces on the Japanese guy grabbing for the ball. It jumps, starts as hard, he doesn't die after all. Meanwhile, Tommy Smothers is walking through the stands. He sees a yo-yo lying on the stairs. He bends down to pick it up, but people tell him, "Don't, a lady choked on it." Tommy don't care. Tommy Smothers doing all these fancy yo-yo tricks. People are clapping, having a really great time. When suddenly Flo stands up and screams, "Give me back that yo-yo, Tommy Smothers, it's mine." Flo and Tommy Smothers get into a big fight, kicking and screaming with all their might. Punches are thrown, tempers flare, yo-yo flies up into the air. Joe the Cracker Jack vendor catches a yo-yo, puts it in his pocket, and he walks away. The Yankees lose that game to the Red Sox. Joe sells a yo-yo on eBay. Oh, the Japanese guy takes a turn for the worse. I'm so sad to report. His family wants to sue Derek Jeter and the Yankees for millions. Yankees want to settle out of court. The case drags on for more than a year. Derek Jeter drowns his sorrow in beer. Steinbrenner falls in love, and what do you know? The new girl of his dreams is a yo-yo woman Flo. Yo-Yo Ma and the Smothers Brothers play at the church the day Flo and Steinbrenner are wed. They feast on champagne and Cracker Jacks. Steinbrenner chokes on a prize and drops dead.
All right. How about an encore?
Okay, but you know what? I gotta get my other guitar. Hold on. Think about that song for a minute and how long it took me to memorize it. I actually once heard from a lawyer who heard me do that song in concert. And he said that there's 41 potential lawsuits in that song, including inappropriate cultural appropriation, because I have a Japanese guy eating chop suey, which is a Chinese dish. So far, nobody's ever tried to, come after me. But I have to say that the New York Yankees, that's what you get for being mean to a songwriter. That's what you get. Now I'm going to finish up for real with, this is a brand new song, and I got to say something to Peter Mayer. Peter Mayer has a song called The Hat Song, and I made a video for it, and it was shown at the Philadelphia Folk Festival, and I'm going to be the MC this year. And I asked folk singers all over the country and Canada to send me, and England too. Daniel Cainer's in the video. And there's so many folk singers in hats in that video, and if you can count all of them, you'll win a prize. You just send me a note at my website. But this is a very special song for all you songwriters. It was so wonderful to hear Greg Greenway talking about, his mom, and how so many of us have in our history, our parents just thinking we're out of our minds to dedicate our lives to this kind of thing. And my life changed as a songwriter in 1999 when I met Irvin Drake. And he wrote some of my favorite songs, and he was a real stickler. He was friends with Johnny Mercer. Johnny Mercer said to Irvin Drake said to me, and I tell songwriters all the time, if your song doesn't rhyme exactly, it's because you're not finished working on it. That makes songwriters really unhappy. But anyway, it's not coming from me, it's coming from Johnny Mercer. But this is a true story about Irvin Drake. Year was 1945, place New York City. A young songwriter named Irvin, girl named Edith, smart and pretty. He had no success to speak of yet. His heart beat just for her. Irvin proposed. Edith said no. His days became a blur. He walked the streets heartbroken, convinced his life was through. Irene Higginbotham played a haunting tune, echoed Irvin's shade of blue. And then he did what he does best, channeled all that grief into words. Good morning, heartache finally brought him some relief. Irvin and Edith fell in love so young, parted ways so quickly. no wedding bells were rung. Edith and Irvin fell way too fast. She became for him the big heartbreak in his past. Good Morning Heartache got to Billie Holiday. She recorded Irvin's tale of the one that got away. You know what? I forgot to tell you that I co-wrote this with John Forster, and I was just thinking about, oh my God, I'm singing this, and they think I wrote the whole thing. Let me just go. You know what? It's so new. It's so new. I have the lyrics over here. I'm just going to have to pull them up. Here we go. Here we go. Good morning, heartache. Got to Billie Holiday. She recorded Irvin's tale of the one that got away. The song had wings, and with it his career began to soar. Oh, but every morning there it was, heartache just outside his door. Irvin and Edith married other people. The months then years just flew. He never stopped thinking of her, even as his reputation grew. In 1961, he wrote, it was a very good year. Sinatra driving heard it, pulled off the road, 'cause it was clear he knew this song was meant for him. Sings in the very same key as the Kingston Trio Irvin wrote it for. Play them back to back, you'll see. And the second verse about city girls with all that perfumed hair, that was for his first love, Edith, still completely unaware that good morning heartache she also inspired. Now a wife and a working mom, her days were hectic, left her tired. In 1974 in the paper, Irvin read her name. Edith was widowed. New heartache for his old flame. Irvin tried to let it go. The past was long gone. They were kids back in the 40s. He's older now, his life moved on. But a year later, Edith read he was widowed too. She drank her morning coffee, stared into space. What would she do? What would she do? Edith waited 6 months. Then she made the call. Is this Irvin Drake, she asked, wondering if he'd even remember her at all. Hello, Edith, he said. Can I take you out tonight? Over dinner at Elaine's. At last, everything felt right. Irvin and Edith fell in love so young. In 1982, wedding bells were finally rung. Edith and Irvin, now side by side, taking care of each other, rising with each tide. Irvin and Edith finished their lives strong, and now you know the stories behind two classic songs. Irvin and Edith, relatives hold their memory dear. When he wrote Good Morning Heartache, turns out it was a very good year.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah?
This is Rod.
Hi, Rod.
Hey.
I'm sorry I messed up my final song.
Well, you know what? How about we not make it your final song? Can you play one more? What do you think?
Oh. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I gotta.
This is why I get the big bucks.
Oh yeah. Okay, I gotta put down this because that's the only song I do in that tuning.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rod MacDonald, and along with Raymond Misek, I'm the co-producer of tonight's event. And while Chris is getting ready, let me say thanks to a couple people, Brandon O'Sullivan and Greg Greenway, for keeping the sound together. Greg doing double duty this month and helping people like the Fox Run 5 and some of the other folks do their sound checks before the show. And of course, Ron Olesko and Sonny Ochs, our co-MCs. You ready, Chris?
Yep, I got just the right song for it. This is for all you performers, all you travelers. This is an honest God true story. I don't make things up, I just make them rhyme, so no one will get hurt. Let's start with Once Upon a Time. I did a concert in a quaint little theater next to a charming Airbnb. If I thank them from the stage, I can stay for free. The people who had the room before me, I was told, were a couple of cute newlyweds who loved each other madly and loved the king-size bed. Ooh, king-size bed. Thank you, I'd love to stay. The owner said I would put good money on you having sweet dreams tonight. I did, and the next afternoon I did what I thought was right. I stripped the bed to make it easy to prepare for whoever would stay there next. But what fell out of the blankets and sheets left me perplexed. A blindfold, blue BVD size XXXL, a skimpy baby doll nightie, furry handcuffs as well. What did I sleep on? I can't ask for a refund, 'cause I never paid. What do I do with the remnants of this newlywed love parade? I guess I could pack them into my suitcase, give airport security a thrill when they go through my luggage on my way to Hooterville. What did I sleep on? Instead, I wrapped up all the goodies, left them in the blankets and sheets on the floor. I left the maid service requested sign dangling from my door. I left that night in an Uber. The driver said, "Please, get in the front seat." Did I mind if we stopped at a drive-thru? He was hungry, he had to eat. Then he leaned over, he looked me in the eye and he said, "I can't see in the dark." Riding shotgun with him is like taking a spin in a dangerous amusement park. Then he confessed that he had no money, and if I would pay for the food, he'd give me a ride ride to the airport for free. That put me in a mood, 'cause everybody knows Uber charges automatic. I had to let that one go. At the airport I told him, from now on only drive in the daylight. He said, I know, I know. I waved goodbye, he put the car in gear, disappeared into a dusty cloud, checking me out in the rearview mirror, crank and rush Limbaugh up loud. Oh, it's a brave new world where anyone can be a taxi or an Airbnb. I'm gonna think twice next time I'm offered something free. Life can be one long journey, first up, then all downhill. But for me, it's little adventures on my way to Hooterville. What did I sleep on? I can't see in the dark.
That's it.
When we go up the air, I want to hear stories from everybody.
Good to know we all have something to fall back on.
Like a knife or a career. Remember, that's a line from the Roaches sisters.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Christine Lavin, the one and only Christine Lavin, and that concludes the music for tonight's show. I misspoke earlier. I want to especially thank Sonny Ochs for joining us emceeing tonight, along with Ron Olesko. Ron, of course, is the director of folkmusicnotebook.com, where you can find a lot of this music 24 hours a day on the internet. And Sonny also has a radio program that's rebroadcast each month on folkmusicnotebook.com. So look us up, check us all out. I want to thank all our performers who are with us tonight. And just in case you missed anybody, the entire show will be archived in about 24 hours on YouTube and our Greenwich Village folkfestival.org website, and also on Facebook. And of course, going all the way back to 7 o'clock, that would be Daniel Cainer, who appeared with us from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, Scotland, which I played once about 20 years ago, a really amazing event. Dave Rowe from the Stink Pot, somewhere around Maryland in the Atlantic, originally from Maine. Lili, Añel. Lili, wonderful to see you, one of our longtime favorites from the Village, now in Philadelphia. Joel Mabus, excellent work as always. The Fox Run 5, who are, of course, a very special group, including a bunch of mega talents all come together. The wonderful David Roth, Deidre McCalla. Congratulations, Deidre, on the success of your new CD. For you folks out there, in case no one mentioned it, it was #1 this past month on the folk music, folk DJ charts. Greg Greenway, hi Greg, good to see you. Caught your set last week at Falcon Ridge. Peter Mayer, new to the Greenwich Village Folk Festival. Beautiful, beautiful work, Peter. I have to say I could barely keep from crying during your second song. And of course, wrapping it up, Christine Lavin. Brandon O'Sullivan and Greg Greenway, again, thank you so much for your sound work. And Ray Munmisek and Andrew Klasky and Jerry Kornbluth for the work you guys do off stage. That concludes our music, and thanks to all of you folks out there who've contributed or donated to the show tonight. We very much appreciate it. We are a nonprofit, but we like to share what we get with the musicians, and that's pretty much where it goes. Ron, Sonny, I'm going to turn it over to you to say goodnight, and thanks everybody for tuning in.
Well, thank you, Rod, and thank you, Sonny. It's good to be with you again, and you're going to be back in October, right, for the Phil Ochs night?
I certainly will. I've got it pretty much lined up, and it's going to be a wonderful show.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll be the 39th year of Phil Ochs Song Nights. And as I mentioned once before, Rod McDonald, our dear friend Rod, was in the very first Phil Ochs Song Night at the Speakeasy on McDougal Street in the Village. So
And I'll be in this one in October.
Yes, so it's really appropriate that we have the Phil Ochs Song Night at the Greenwich Village Folk Festival because it really started in Greenwich Village.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be good to have you back on this as well. And Chris will be back next month. We're going to be doing a wonderful show on September 4th. Tracy Grammer, Ann Hills, Bernie Shanahan, Tom Prasado-Rao, Louise Mosricum, Andy Cohen, Peter Galloway, Robert Ross, Dan and Claudia Zanes. And who knows who else might just show up. You never know. And Sonny, of course, we'll also see you on Folk Music Notebook, the third Sunday of the month, 6 p.m.
Fourth Sunday.
Fourth Sunday. I can't count. I just run the thing. Well, thanks again. And thanks to all of you who watched tonight and everybody who put something in the tip jar. And don't forget, mark your calendars, September 4th. We'll see you all then. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.